Good morning. It is Monday Morning Motivation once again. If you guys are brand new to the channel, I am Chris, better known as Chris Cooking Nashville here on YouTube. I'm a proper human diet chef, recipe creator, and somehow along the way we ended up becoming people that are running a community and trying to give motivation and just anecdotal evidence and advice to the benefits of low-carb, proper human diets. And in the process of all of this, I've lost about 130 pounds, reversed a whole bunch of metabolic issues, and still working to achieve optimal health. This is my beautiful wife, the amazing Ash Taylor, country artist extraordinaire. Go to ashtaylor.com and you can see all of the amazing things that she does. And you've done some amazing things with a proper human diet.
I sure have. Yeah, I lost a little over 100 pounds, reversed anxiety, depression, been sober for going on 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
So lots of amazing things.
Yeah.
So good morning, everybody.
Yeah, good morning to everyone. So if you guys are here, please drop it in the chat and say hello to us, especially if you're new. We love new people. And if you don't mind, while you're at it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and let us know that you like this. More importantly, let YouTube know that you like this so that we can spread the message to as many people as possible. And if you can see us and hear us all right, let us know. We have a different microphone that hopefully for our viewers who have been with us the last few weeks, hopefully this will be a little bit easier to hear. So let us know, and if not, then we'll continue working on it. But let us know if you can hear us and see us all right. So
yes.
We will say hello to some folks here in a few minutes, but before we do that, I'm going to jump in to, I think, something really cool. So this is something I've been working on, and we have done various versions of this. This whole keto and carnivore detox thing that we're talking about today. And this is going to be available for you to download on my website. So I have in the description box a link to a hidden page on my website. You're not going to be able to find it just going to the website because it's not just prominently displayed there for you. But if you click the link in the description box, there is a page hidden on the website where you can download a PDF of this for free. So if you want to download this, print this out, and try this, would love to know what kinds of results you guys have. And we're going to talk about this Keto and Carnivore Dopamine Detox. One of the things that we talked about last week was we talked about this whole thing of how you've been set up, right? We've talked about how the food that's in our system currently and all of the things that we are told we're supposed to eat, and like all of this junk and all of these addictive chemicals that are added to our food, this sets us up to be addicted and to struggle. And this is very hard for us to be able to figure out how to get off of, because companies make money off of us being addicted to food. It's just part of it. And maybe some of them have bad intentions. Maybe some of them don't really have specific intentions other than making money. Regardless, we're not here to worry about what their intentions are. We're just here to try to solve the problem. So one of the things that keto and carnivore really do is they help you detox from a number of things. One of the things you need to detox from is dopamine, because we're talking about the addiction of that constant dopamine hit that you get from all of the sugar, all of the processed chemicals, things like food dyes and all of these different things. We get massive dopamine hits, but sugar's not the only thing we get dopamine hits from. There's a lot of stuff. So we're going to talk about that. Now, none of this is medical advice. I am not a medical professional. Neither is Ash.
Definitely not.
If you want medical advice, you have to go to a licensed healthcare practitioner who has a medical professional and patient relationship with you. So this is all anecdotal. It is all for educational and entertainment purposes, for you to be informed and make better decisions about how to take care of your health and how to be your own health advocate, because that's something that we have really learned, all of us in this community. We have to walk into these situations and we have to advocate for ourselves, because, as Dr. Barry would put it, no one is coming to save you. So we are here advocating for ourselves, trying to encourage you guys to advocate for yourselves, and this is one of the ways that I highly, highly, highly recommend you advocating for yourself, is to try out things like this dopamine detox. So first of all, this dopamine detox, what is this for? Well, obviously this is to detox you from the excessive dopamine in your brain. And this is especially important for anyone who is trying keto and carnivore for the first time. I think it's a good thing that all of us from time to time try this intentionally and make sure we're staying honest about it. So even if you've been doing this for a long time, still listen up and still consider trying this. But this is really beneficial for someone who is brand new to get a really good view of what is possible with a proper human diet. So this detox that we're going to talk about, it's a 5-day detox, okay? Now, you are not going to fix all of your problems in 5 days. This is not a miraculous thing. It's not magic, none of that. This is simply a place to start, to get you going, to give you a basic idea of what is possible when you work on your health, because our health journeys are long-term things. This is not something you're going to fix in 5 days or 2 weeks or a month or 90 days or even a year. This is a process. And if there's anything that I've really learned along the way, you cannot expect your body to reverse all of the things you have done to it for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 decades, maybe more, in 6 months or a year or 2 years or 5 years. I mean, it may take the rest of your life to just see how far you can go. But we are going to work on, little by little, fixing our health. And this dopamine detox is a great step for, if you're brand new, to get an idea of what can be done. Or if you've been doing keto or carnivore or any of this stuff for a while, doing an intentional 5-day sort of dopamine reset in your mind to help you see, honestly, am I maybe still more addicted to dopamine hits than I realize? And this is something Ash and I, we do things like this, and we are experimenting, because this is all about N=1. So let's talk about this dopamine detox. And like I said, Ash and I have done sort of a version of this already, in multiple ways, actually. But yeah. I think I'm going to do this again at some point in time coming up here. So let's talk about what this is. So first of all, and this is the PDF that you guys will be able to download. This is very short. It's 3 pages. This is a very simple and straightforward protocol. So this is not hard for you to integrate into your life just for 5 days. And it's not a long-term commitment to try to do this. You don't need to do this for a month. So it's very approachable. But this is the Keto Carnivore Dopamine Detox that I have put together for you here. So essentially what this is for is for you to do this for 5 days, try to reset what's going on in your brain. And you can see there it says break the chains, reclaim your brain. That's what we're trying to do. And there's a couple of things you really need to understand. This is not a diet. It is a dopamine exorcism, right? We're trying to get that dopamine out of our brain, not because dopamine is a bad thing. Dopamine is fine. Your brain is supposed to have dopamine, but because of the way we live, we are constantly dosing our brain in dopamine to a point we start becoming much less sensitive to it. And it takes more and more and more. This is how addiction works, right? We need more and more and more to get the same hit. So we want more dopamine, more dopamine, more dopamine, and we live stressed out lives. We want dopamine to make us feel better. And so we start using all of these things to get excessive amounts of dopamine. So we are trying to get all of that dopamine out so that our brain can reset and understand dopamine again. So when it gets it from the right places and in the right amounts, it is properly responding, okay? And the other thing it says here, junk food numbed your soul, meat heals it. And that's kind of at the core of all of this. Junk food is causing you to be not sensitive to these things, amongst other things in your lives. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Meat is going to be the foundation of this. Whether you are doing keto or carnivore, either way, this dopamine detox, the meat, is the foundation of how you're going to feed your body, okay? So let's look at page 1. So there's our cover page. Here is page 1. Now, this basically has your 5 days of what you're going to do totally laid out for you. And I'll be honest, there's a couple of things in here that, I wrote this, and I even look at it and have kind of that feeling of like, I don't want to have to do that. Because I get dopamine hits from this stuff. I like doing these things with the dopamine, right? Like this is a normal kind of a thing for our brain to respond this way, okay? So let me see. Let me blow this up so I can see it a little better. Actually, it popped up there, so we're good. So I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but there's a couple of things here that I want to just point out. So it's not just about food, it's about freedom. Okay? So it's not about just what you're putting in your body and your weight and your health and all of these different things. It's about being free of that feeling of being attached to stuff. You can't go without. I can't possibly make it through this day without list what those things are.
Right.
Right? It's not that those things are even necessarily bad. Maybe they're okay for you. But if you can't make it without them because you think you need them for survival, then you have an unnatural dopamine attachment to having that thing. And it's not even about getting rid of all of it permanently, but it's about understanding your relationship with it. And this is why, even if you've been doing keto and carnivore, this is a good thing to do and really keep yourself honest so you have a good, clear picture of this. So it's not about food, it's about freedom. We're getting off sugar, seed oils, and endless stimulation because we live in a world where everything is stimulating us because people make money by stimulating our brains and getting us to give them money for more of whatever it is they've got us hooked on. It's how entertainment works. It's how food works in this society. It's how all of this stuff is. Okay, so it's a 5-day reset. It's a battle plan to take back that freedom. And this is simple, right? This is proper human diet simplicity at its finest. Now, I want to point out, this is not about weight loss. Do not step on a scale and measure your success here by that metric. I thought it was really cool. I was watching a Dr. Kiltz live stream yesterday, and he said, someone asked a question about weight and measurements and all of this kind of stuff, and he, in a very polite and professional and Dr. Kiltz sort of way, if you've ever watched him, he said, stop measuring. Stop focusing on your weight and your measurements and all of these other things, because what's important is how you feel, what's going on metabolically in your body, and what's going on in your mind. It is the mind and the heart behind what you are doing that is going to give you a satisfactory life. It is not how skinny you can be. And unfortunately, we live in a society where everyone looks at you and they look to see if you're skinny enough and they judge whether you're healthy by that immediately.
Right.
And if you're not skinny enough for them, then obviously you must be unhealthy. Well, Dr. Kiltz says this all the time. Obesity is not causing your disease. Obesity is the symptom of underlying disease issues, which is from eating things you should not be eating, especially in the amounts we eat them. So if you stop focusing on measurement and you just start focusing on the positive things that are in your mind, thinking about the good stuff you're trying to do, focus on feeling good, focus on changing your life, get up, move, have fun, look in the mirror and go, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have the body I'm in. Am I working on making it better? Yes, absolutely. But I'm blessed where I'm already at. Stop standing on a frickin' scale every day. And I'm preaching as much to myself as I am to any of you listening here. I've stopped stepping on a scale. I have stopped measuring. I have stopped focusing on it. If I'm feeling good and I'm moving forward, I am acting like the warrior I'm trying to be. That's what matters. And that's why this dopamine detox matters. It is not about your weight. Now, will you lose weight doing this in 5 days? Maybe. I don't know. That's completely dependent on where you are metabolically and how much of a change this is. And what issues you do or don't have that may be helping you hang on to extra weight. So I don't know. But here's the deal. You're not going to know because if you do this, do not step on a scale. If you step on a scale when you're doing this and you start measuring the success of this by a scale, I'm going to show up at your house and I'm going to put a finger in your face and say, stop that. Don't do that, okay? I love you guys. Do not focus on the scale for this 5-day detox. That is not what this is about. And if you focus on that scale and it goes up or down one way, you may completely miss the benefits of doing this. And I don't want that for you guys. I want you to do this and get a real, true, clear picture and understanding of whether this is really doing something for you or not. So you can get an honest understanding of where your relationship to dopamine really is. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. Stay off the scale for now. I love you guys. Stay off the scale. All right, so let's talk about the detox protocol. Day 1. We're going to go cold turkey on sugar, caffeine. Be prepared for those headaches if you need to take some medicine for a couple of days on the headaches. I get it. Try not to if you don't have to take meds. We don't want to be taking meds. But if you're going to go off caffeine, you might have some headaches. So get off sugar, cold turkey. Okay? If you're already off sugar, great. Just be real strict and make sure you're off sugar. Caffeine. Get off the caffeine. Seed oils, no seed oils. If you want some mayonnaise, you make my spreadable butter mayo. You don't go get the stuff in the jar and go, well, it's not that bad. No, not for a dopamine detox. Maybe most of the time you can get away with some of that. Depends on your particular health and how strict you want to be. But maybe you do that. But for this, don't do that. No seed oils. No processed foods. Whole, one ingredient foods. Now let's talk about what the word processed means, because technically ground beef is processed. Okay? When I say processed, I mean when you look at the ingredients on the back of whatever it is, there's chemicals, there's additives, there's any of that kind of stuff. It's packaged food. Eat meat, eat veggies, eat low carb, whole, one ingredient things, okay? So you're also, and this is one that's hard for me, you're gonna stop scrolling. What do I mean by scrolling? Now, if you're working, if at your job you have to be sitting in front of a computer, you have to use a cell phone, you have to use an iPad, I get it. Like, we're living in a real world, we're adults, we have jobs, okay, fine. You can use things for that. When you are not working, put the screens away. No computer, no phone, no TV, none of it. If it has a screen, you do not use it. Now, I know a bunch of you out there probably went, well, I can't do this. I get it. And that's the way I feel about it too, because I am on my phone constantly. I am a YouTuber for a living. Okay? I am on screens all day, every day. But when I'm not working, I'm going to do this. And when I'm not working, I am not going to have my phone anywhere near me. Yeah. I'm literally going to put it in another room. You guys, this is so important because there are so many studies out there that talk about how scrolling, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all this kind of stuff, the social media world we live in now is so dosing when it comes to the dopamine. This is why teenagers are struggling with so many things mentally, because they're dopamine just dosing constantly, and that's not a good thing. when you're overdoing it and you're getting these spikes in dopamine and up and down and all this kind of stuff, I mean, our teenagers are drug addicts. Young kids now, because kids get smartphones at ages where I was still playing with sticks in the dirt. Okay? I grew up in the country. Like, I literally remember one of my favorite things to do is go out and I'd get, like, a big, long stick that was, like, made out of green wood, so it was a little flexible because it was still wet. And I would go out and there would be these big, tall weeds that grew all around our property. One of my favorite things to do was pretend that I had a sword and go slice those weeds down. I was just out walking around in the sunshine, slicing down weeds with a stick.
You were moving, though.
And I was moving.
Yeah.
And I was out in fresh air, and I was getting sun. I didn't have a cell phone. Cell phones weren't even a thing unless you were, like, a wealthy businessman. Right? Smartphones didn't exist. We didn't have a computer until I think I was in 3rd grade. And I almost never used it because I didn't have any reason to use it. We didn't have, like, an internet connection for a long time. Right? And we barely had satellite TV. And the only time that I was watching TV is if there was a special movie I wanted to watch or if it was cartoons. Right? Most of the time I was outside. So that's what I want to get back to, because kids are being dosed by dopamine from doing this on phones all day long, and then they live their entire lives on social media. And it's not just the kids, it's you and me and Ash and all of us. So get away from the screen. No scrolling. If you're not working, put your screens away. There's plenty of other things in the world that are more interesting. Okay? So we're going to put away our scrolling. So cold turkey on sugar, caffeine, seed oils, processed foods, and scrolling. Get all of it out of your life. We are going to eat 3 clean, meat-heavy keto, or ideally carnivore meals. We just want to get all of those carbs out just for a reset. Okay? High animal fat and animal protein intake is the key here. Remember I said meat is going to be the core of this. High protein and high fat. If you have a few veggies because you're keto and you're like, I just can't do this any other way, that's fine, but I really encourage you to try carnivore for 5 days if you can, okay? And don't pick a week to do this where it's like, oh, I'm going to have 4 dinners out and I'm going to have family over, and I'm like, set yourself up for success. This is only 5 days, right? Find 5 days where you can do this, where you are going to have a fairly normal schedule, and you can intentionally plan for this ahead of time. High animal fat and animal protein intake. Eat until you are comfortably stuffed on meat and animal fats. If you have some veggies along with that and you're doing the keto thing, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you, because it's not like carnivore is better than keto. I just think for this, it would be a more clean picture by doing the reset with doing just the meat. But if you're going to include the veggies, that's fine. I still love you anyway. But eat a minimal amount. And if you're still hungry, don't go get more veggies. Go get more meat. More meat, more fat. That's what you're going to fill up on. So you're going to eat 3 meals. Now, you could do 2 if you're like, I'm just not a 3-meal kind of person. That's fine. You can do 2. But don't limit yourself on this. Do 3 if you really are normally eating 3. Walk outside at whatever pace is comfortable for you. Okay, that doesn't mean you need to go out and speed walk. You're not trying to marathon walk here. Just go out and get moving. Dr. Kiltz also said this in his live stream. We're meant to move. Stop sitting still all the time. He has a desk where he works in his practice. He talks about this. It's a standing desk, and he's barefoot most of the time, and he loves that. And he's like, we're not meant to sit down all day. We're meant to move. So he's like, even if I'm at my desk, I'm standing up and moving. And Dr. Kiltz is just purely a ball of energy.
He
Unbelievable.
is, yeah.
So really, really great. Dr. Barry is the same way, right? When he's around, like, he's moving back and forth and standing and walking, and he talks about when he's not working at his desk in his house, he's out on the farm. He's cutting up logs with chainsaws and throwing wood around and pulling out weeds and
working
in the farm. So these guys that are in great shape and know what they're talking about, they talk about this. Move. So you're going to get up. You're going to walk. You don't have to push yourself and like kill yourself here. Walk outside. And outside is really important, because when you're on a treadmill, you ain't getting none of that vitamin D from being out in the sun.
Yeah. Go
out and get fresh air and sun. Walk outside, whatever pace is comfortable for you. Raise your heart rate a little bit if you can. Like, you don't have to be like, I'm not telling you to get out of breath here. just go move and see if you can feel that, your heart rate is a little bit higher because you're working and your heart's like beating to give you oxygen. That's what you need. Okay? So we're going to do that. No screens after dinner. Even if you have to work during the day and you have screens, fine. When you're done eating dinner, put the screens away. Don't sit there and scroll on your phone. Don't do any of this stuff with TVs and all. No screens. There's lots of other things you can do. You can read. You can go learn a new hobby. You can play a board game with your family. You can, God forbid, spend time with the people you love and talk to them. Like, there are things you can do with your life that does nothing to do with electricity, okay? No screens after dinner. Be honest about that. And that's day one, okay? Go to bed, get some sleep, enjoy. You'll be fine. Day two, meals are the same. Right? Still doing those 3 meals or 2 meals if that's what you do. Meals the same as day one. Doesn't mean you have to eat the same food, but take the same approach where it's lots of animal fat, lots of animal protein, minimal to no veggies. Okay? And try to maybe, if you can, stay away from spices as much as possible. I'm not trying to be like dogmatic carnivore and be like, it needs to be meat, salt, water, you're not doing it right. I'm not saying that. Limit, though, the spices, because even the spices, if you get more than you realize you're getting, could be causing more dopamine hits than you realize. Mm. And we're trying to detox from this dopamine, so we want to go as far as we can, reasonably, to get away from that. So, meals the same on day two. Add 10 minutes of mindfulness and or journaling post-meal to reflect on what you're feeling. Mm. Now, this is really important. When you eat, after you're done eating, sit there 5 minutes at least, but 10 minutes if you can. Maybe write it down. I'm not much of a write it down kind of a guy. I've always been like either type it into my phone or just kind of think about it. But whatever works best for you. Take 5 to 10 minutes and sit there after you eat and think about, what are you feeling? Are you feeling satisfied? Do you feel like you're craving things? Are you missing stuff? Like, be honest with yourself. What am I really experiencing? Because you need to be mindful of what response is happening in your brain after eating your food, because we're trying to target and figure out, where is my issue coming from, and am I getting dopamine hits from all these things I'm used to eating, and now when I take them away, suddenly I'm feeling sad. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling like I'm craving things. I'm feeling like I'm not satisfied even though I've eaten as much as I want. Like, that matters. Mm-hmm. That's an indication of a dopamine issue, right? So the first thing we have to do to fix a problem is identify it. So that's what we're trying to do. Be mindful after you eat. 10 minutes, write it down. Stick to beef, butter, bacon, eggs, seafood, salt, and water. Limit or avoid the veggies and spices as much as possible, okay? Still, no screens after dinner. Just because you made it through one day doesn't mean like, woohoo, get to celebrate and go scroll Facebook for the next 2 hours. Don't do that. Do not do that. Get off the screens, okay? Day 3. Introduce fasted movement. Walks, light exercise, breath work, whatever the things are that you would like to do. And again, you don't have to kill yourself here, but do it enough that you can feel like, okay, I'm there's a little bit of something going on. I'm pushing myself just a little bit here. That's cool. And do it before eating. Specifically when you have not had anything to eat. So if that is before you have breakfast in the morning, or maybe you're a 2-meal kind of a day person and you do it before lunch, do some movement while you are fasted. Because when you're fasted, you have burnt through whatever glucose and food and everything was in your stomach and any of that kind of stuff in your body. And then when you start doing some light exercise, your body has to start creating ketones and burning through some things. And that's what we want to do. We want to start doing that because that's going to burn through the junk, and your body can create the appropriate hormones that feel good, that you enjoy when you physically move. Because instead of it burning through a bunch of glucose and a bunch of crap in your body, when you do this, you haven't eaten anything. It can create proper hormones that are the right ones that your brain should be getting when you exercise, right? It's going to do that in the right way. So introduce some fasted movement before eating, at least once that day if you can. You don't have to do it before all 3 meals, but just some fasted movement that day. Eat the same as you have the previous 2 days, and reintroduce more of the simple pleasures of your life, like music, reading books, playing board games, whatever it is you like to do. You like to go sit outside, chat with somebody, like, okay, whatever it is you want to do. Enjoy your life without using an electronic device. Get away from the screens, okay? Still no screens on day 3. Day 4, reflect on your cravings. What over the last 3 days have you been craving? What on day 4 are you craving, if anything? And if you're not craving anything, kudos to you. That's wonderful. Reflect on that. What am I craving? Why am I craving it? What do I feel? Okay? Journal about your emotional triggers. What happened? When? What was around you? What did it make you feel or crave? Etc. You need to understand the triggers around you that are causing you to crave things. Because if you don't see the attachment between certain things and these foods, these cravings, these different kinds of things, you will struggle to know how to fix those issues because you haven't put together 2 and 2. We're trying to figure out where your dopamine cravings come from and what are the things your brain is trying to turn to get that dopamine, because that's probably where a big portion of your issue is coming from. If you're seeing it and you're being cognizant of it, you can start to fix it and move it away and change your relationship with it. Even if you don't permanently remove it, knowing that it's an issue gives you a lot of power, okay? So be intentional about your emotional triggers, journaling about this. Eat similarly, but do so slowly with intention. Now, this is another one of those that I look at and I go, I'm going to have a hard time with this because I like to, I love food, okay? I love to just eat my food passionately. I do. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying your food, but we're doing this slowly and with intention because we're trying to savor each bite, not rush through the meal, and we're trying to give our brain time to respond to the fact that we are tasting and enjoying that food and we're chewing it fully and we're really enjoying this because we're being intentional, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally about our attachment to our food. And good food, not the things that are giving us dopamine hits, real food. We're trying to reset our relationship with the dopamine and the food connection. Okay? So intentionally eating. Search for satiety signals saying you're full, not a feeling of the pressure in your stomach. And this is one of the things, as a food addict, as a sugar addict, I would eat until I had a physically sick feeling in my stomach. That's how I would register, I'm full. That's not what full means. That's what sick means. Full means you're not hungry anymore. But we don't take the time in this world that we live in now, the way society is, we don't take time to eat and think about that before we take another bite.
Yeah.
We just eat until the plate's empty or until we're so sick we can't eat anymore. Be intentional about searching for that feeling of, am I actually full? Am I truly done? Do I really want more? And I put this in here. If partway through your food it doesn't taste as good to you anymore, you're like, this just isn't tasting as good as it was. That's a satiety signal. That's your body saying, I think we're kind of done here. I've never thought about that. I just see that there's food left over on the plate and I just gotta, shove the rest of it in because that's what we do. When you're eating and it tastes great and then suddenly you're like, I just don't really think I want any more of that. Stop. That is satiety. I think there's a lot of people, and I'm not saying this is everyone, but I think there are some people that say, I don't get satiety signals. I think they do. I just don't think they know what they are. I was one of them. So be intentional about searching for those things as you're eating, and slowing down how you eat can make that a lot easier. So that is your body being aware of true satiety, maybe for the first time ever. Okay, so be intentional and look for that. That's day 4. Don't pull those screens back out. You know by now those screens are not like, because I didn't write it in there somehow magically now they're okay. You know better. Don't pull those screens out. Day 5, this is our last day. Build your dopamine defense plan, right? We are warriors about this. Build a defense plan. This is your go-to meals. What does your routine look like? What is your support system? Okay, you know you've journaled now about where your cravings and triggers are coming from. So what's your support system to get away from that or to deal with that in the moment? How do you deal with this? All right, you've been discovering this for the last few days, so start putting this together. Write it down. What is your plan? Your go-to meals. These are easy things that I can just drop into that are not going to spike dopamine because I've been doing them and I like these things. Here is my routine, how I'm going to get up, how I'm going to do a little fasted exercise if I can't, not intense, just a little something. And here's my support system for when there are triggers or cravings come up or whatever. What am I going to do about it? Where do I go? You have to plan this ahead of time. Because if you wait until you're in the midst of a craving or you wait until you're in the midst of a trigger that's making you want a dopamine dose, and then you're going to try to figure out what to do instead, you're already so far behind the 8 ball, you're most likely going to fail at that. I certainly would. So you need to know ahead of time. Have an action plan already prepared so if it happens, you know what to do. Okay? You've been discovering this. What worked well? Where did you struggle? Lean into what works well and lean away from where it makes you struggle. It's a very straightforward concept, but how many of us actually do it? I don't. Do you?
Nah.
When you're struggling with things legitimately.
Nope.
It's honestly, when I'm legitimately struggling with things, a lot of times I can point to how that's on me.
Yep.
I mean, there's times that it happens, it's out of your control, sure. But if I'm really being honest, most of the times in the past that I've struggled with these things, it's on me. I didn't do the job. So understand those things and ask, what can you do to address those situations that caused cravings or made you feel negative things ahead of time? What can you do when the cravings pop up or the triggers happen? What can you do to address it that does not include pulling out the bag of candy, pulling out the bag of potato chips, drinking more coffee, drinking a soda, drinking an energy drink, getting on your phone? Like, what can you do that's an actual proper human lifestyle technique to address those things? Plan that out. That's really important to have that planned out. Think about what worked really well and then celebrate your wins. This goes back to the thing Dr. Kiltz was talking about, how it's all about your mind and it's all about this like being optimistic and loving where you are, and like it doesn't matter that my body is not right where I want it to be. I'm blessed that I have it the way that I do. Being positive and optimistic about this and setting yourself up intentionally by focusing on the blessing you have of the day. Think about that. Celebrate your wins. If you go, I slept a little better tonight. Wake up in the morning and celebrate that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I ate that whole meal and I didn't crave sugar at the end of it. Wonderful. Celebrate that. What did you eat for that meal? What did you really enjoy? I had these burger patties and a little bit of cheese on top, and that just made me feel real good. And afterwards, I had no heartburn and no indigestion, and I slept well, and I didn't have to go on Facebook and all that. Do all of that and celebrate it. And then go do it again. And do it again. And do it again. And set yourself up. So, this is our 5-day detox. Okay? That's our 5 days of going through these things. Now, something that I tried to do here is I put together this last little page. First of all, it has the disclaimer on there because I don't want anybody coming after me telling me I'm trying to be a doctor and that I caused, keto butt crack to happen, and so therefore I deserve to be sued. I'm not playing games with any of this.
Keto butt crack?
Yeah. No keto butt crack. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm not telling you that any of this is a medical thing, whatever. You need to talk about any of these kinds of things with a doctor.
Yeah.
Talk to a doctor. Don't believe some redneck on the internet, okay? But there's a few things here that I just want you to think about and focus on. Okay? I put these on here. These are truth bombs. You saw a couple of these already. This isn't a diet. It's a dopamine exorcism. Okay? We're not on a diet. We're living a lifestyle, and this is a specific protocol to help you get the dopamine out of your brain so you can re-establish an appropriate dopamine relationship. Okay? You've been chasing the high. It's time to come home and chase good health.
Mm-hmm.
Stop chasing the high, chase the good health. That's what this is about. Keto and carnivore isn't extreme. Living addicted to fake foods that's killing you. That's extreme.
Mm.
This is really important when the world around us says, you're crazy, that's restrictive, what are you doing? Like, this stuff is out there. When you hear that, you need to remember keto and carnivore isn't extreme. Living addicted to fake food that's killing you is. And nothing against the people that say all of that. They don't know. They don't know what they don't know. It's why it's our job to kindly and appropriately try to help spread the word. Not beating people up for not knowing, but it's our job to help spread the word in a loving way. And of course, you guys saw this one. Junk food numbed your soul. Meat heals it. Meat is at the center of how we're doing this, okay? Legal disclaimer is there. It's for informational, educational purposes. Does not constitute medical advice. I am not a licensed healthcare professional, as I told you. The information shared in this PDF or any associated content is based on personal experience, research, and opinion. I have an internet connection, and that's how I did this. Okay? Not a medical professional. Always consult with your physician or a qualified healthcare professional before making changes to your diet, lifestyle, or medication regimen. Now, this is entirely up to you how you want to do this, and if you want to do this, but I'm telling you, you should do this, especially if you have a medical condition or are taking prescription medications. The ketogenic and carnivore diets may not be appropriate for everyone, results will vary, and nothing presented here should be considered a substitute for professional medical guidance. Use this information at your own risk. You are responsible for your own health decisions, which is exactly why we should do our research and be our own health advocates. So go do your research on this. If you want to give this a try, excellent. The link is in the description box. Go give it a shot. Print out the PDF. Share it. Mm-hmm. Share it with anyone and everyone you want. Tell them where you got it. Tell them to go check out Chris Cook in Nashville for some recipes, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But that's our protocol.
Awesome.
You have any thoughts on any of that, babe? We haven't... Ash and I haven't really talked a whole lot about this protocol. I just kind of was telling her that I was putting this together and we were going to talk about it today, and she was like, great. So she's kind of hearing a lot of this for the first time too, so.
Yeah, listen, I just roll with it, guys. I roll with it. I do have some advice and encouragement that I just want to share really quick before we get into the comments. So I think that's awesome. For starters, thank you for taking the time to write all that and put all that together and share it with people.
Yeah.
And you said if they go to the website, it's there for them?
So it's on the website, but you will not find it. There's not like a page listed on the website. They'll have to go to the link in the description box of this video.
Okay.
Click on it, and it will take you to a hidden page of my website. And there's a little box there that says download the PDF, and you just click that, it'll download it for you. So it's all free.
Download it.
Yep.
So it's not medical advice, but I think you're really speaking from a lot of personal experience.
Yes.
Because we have actually done this detox and similar things
We've done multiple
years.
versions of this for the last 3 years.
And I will say this, guys, because I've been watching the comments, and I know a lot of you are really excited about it. And then there are some of you, which are very much like me, where we're like, give up coffee? You're kidding me. Screen time? Like, all these things. But, I have to tell you guys, it really is worth it. And so what I would encourage, just being practical and bringing some common sense, if you can take 5 days, and if you guys can really go download this, dive in, just like Chris said, give up coffee, give up screens, do all of it 100% completely. If you can do that, I'm going to tell you right now, it will change your life.
Yeah.
It will really help you learn more about your N=1, what works for you and what doesn't.
Yep.
Now, however, if some of you are like, well, I work during the day, so there's no way that I would be able to completely get rid of screens. Well, that's okay.
Right.
But what you need to do is say, okay, well, I know at work I'm going to have to be on my computer, right? Great. When you're off of work, just don't go on your phones or watch TV or, whatever. So
put them away.
Just kind of approach it with common sense, And even if you're like, I can't give up caffeine can you at least just monitor how much caffeine you're drinking? Because that will surprise people.
Oh, yeah.
It will really surprise people. I kind of drink caffeine based on how I'm feeling. And so some days when I'm really tired, I may have two cups. Some days I have one. But it's like when I'm aware, though, we kind of do this detox, or after a detox, after some time goes by, it kind of dawns on me like, man, I really am drinking way too much coffee.
Yeah.
Like, what is that doing to me, really? Why do I do that?
Yep.
So there's just things where I'm just saying, if you guys can't do it 100%, at least try to do it to the best of your abilities with where you're at and what you have right now.
Yeah.
And even just doing it basically like that will make a difference. And then when you can, dive all in.
Do it 100% when you can. If you can't do it 100%, first of all, don't make the excuse that you can't do it 100%. It's not easy for anybody to do this. And I love all of you. You're not special. Okay? And I mean that with all love. I'm not special. You're not special. Everyone's busy. Everyone struggles. Everyone has all of these things that make it hard. Okay? We're all there. We're all adults. We all live in the same society that puts these pressures on us. Don't make the excuse. But if you legitimately can't do this 100% because it would affect something that it's like, okay, well, if I do this 100% and then for the next 3 days I'm struggling with headaches, and then at work I'm underperforming and we have this huge project due and I'm not doing well at work and I'm going to embarrass myself in front of like people that are higher up, and I get it. I totally get it. So you have to be smart about how you can implement this. It takes intentionality, but don't make excuses for not doing it 100% just to avoid it. But if you can't do it 100% legitimately, I totally understand. Do what you can and see those benefits. And then, when you can, do it 100%.
Yeah.
When you get the opportunity. I think one of the things that maybe is important to understand about this is, again, this is not going to fix all of your problems. It's a 5-day dopamine detox. That's not magic. What this is going to do is hopefully give you a taste of what it's like to start resetting these things. And then when you go back to this again and again and again, and you keep doing it more and more, and you work like extending your ability to do this kind of thing,
right?
And you start working on your relationship over a long period of time, and you clean up your diet and you clean up your caffeine relationships, and you start doing this like, I'm moving more, I'm spending less time on screens. Over time that grows. You see things like weight loss and reversal of metabolic issues and all of these things, like pain going away. It's going to take time, but you're working towards it. This is just to give you the first taste, that suddenly you go, there's hope. Because that's what people need, is hope. They need encouragement. They need help. And this is getting you that first step to help you start to understand your relationship with things like dopamine.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you want to go ahead and let's say hey to some
folks? I'd love to. Who's here?
Answer some questions.
Let us know if you guys are watching and what you think about all of this. I'd love for you to put in the description, or in the chat. Put in the chat, what are the things that you think might be difficult for you, that might be spiking your dopamine? What are you looking forward to doing with this? Are you going to try this? Let us know. Tell us in the chat.
Yes, please, please, please. The wonderful Miss Janelle is here.
Hello, Janelle, rock star moderator.
Yeah, she says, good morning, everyone. So glad you're here.
Yes.
And says, let's all hit the like and subscribe button.
Yes, thank you so much, Janelle.
I agree. Sandra is here.
Hello, Sandra.
Watching from Florida.
Love it.
Glad you're here. Sherry Nevada Pup is here.
Hi, Sherry.
She says, good morning, CCN fam. I was up way too early this morning. Rained last night, so I have been pulling weeds, getting my steps in early.
That's movement.
That is movement.
Love
That's
it.
Good stuff. Richard Williams is in the
Hello,
house.
neighbor.
That is our neighbor in Copper Hill. Marty Crum is here.
Hello, Marty.
He says, good morning, everyone. Hard to believe it's already June.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yes. And if I did my math right, I think that this Friday, which is the 6th, I think it's literally like, that would make it like, basically, we're halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. So you literally have about 6 months left in this year to really push yourself and do goals. So maybe doing something like a 5-day dopamine detox would be a great way just to kind of get that needle moving and kind of push yourself a little bit.
That's right.
Grandma's here, Patricia
Hello,
Hoffman.
Patricia.
She says, morning from South Carolina. Looking forward to this topic.
Yes.
Reese's Cluttered Kitchen is here.
Hello, Risa.
Says, good morning, all. Danny is here with us.
Hi, Danny.
Good to see you again, my friend. Reese's Cluttered Kitchen says, it's my day off of work and a great way to start the day. Hope all is well.
Love it. Well, I'm glad you got a day off.
Yes. The beautiful Miss Evelyn is here.
Hello, my beautiful friend Evelyn.
Yes. Your dad's here.
Papa Nashville in the house. Hello.
He says, good morning, Chris, Ashmel, and all. And this is awesome. Danny says, hiya, Chris and Ash. It's my birthday today, and I've lost 2 pounds this week.
Well, happy birthday, Danny, and congratulations on losing a couple of pounds. What a great birthday gift.
Seriously, right? That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Sharon is here.
Hello, Sharon.
Watching from Texas.
Love it.
We got Auntie in the house.
Oh, hello, Auntie. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Yes.
Everything settling out for you?
I know she's been moving and she's been a busy lady.
Yep, she got a lot going on.
Yeah. Brian Fly Fisherman Dishes here.
Hey, Brian.
Says, good morning, everyone. Remember, you are what you eat. Mostly.
That's right.
Yeah. Tammy is here. Says, been a follower for a while, but back at it full time again.
Love it, Tammy. Well, thank you for tuning in. And listen, we're here to support you. So get on that train and let us know how we can help keep you there.
Absolutely. Glad you're here. Angie Z says, good morning, friends. Danny, happy birthday. I'll be 51 on Thursday.
I love that.
That's
well,
so
happy
cool.
early birthday, Angie, and we're glad you're here, too.
Yes. So many birthdays coming up.
Yeah.
Miss Carnivore Jerry is here.
Hi, Jerry.
She says, hey, I'm back. Happy June.
Love it.
Mr. Lewis Stone is in the house. Howdy, all y'all. Time to clock in. See ya on the repeat.
Well, have fun, Lewis. We're glad you're here on the repeat when we see you then.
And by the way, guys, if you don't, please go give Mr. Lewis Stone a follow. Lewis is in our band. He's a wonderful guy.
Yep.
And he posted in the band earlier that he's actually starting to put out videos and stuff like that.
I love it.
He's awesome. He's hilarious. You guys go subscribe to his channel, pretty please.
Yep. Support him. And we got some other people in here who all have channels too. So if any moderators, I know Dustin, I think I saw was here. He's a moderator, and Janelle, and anyone. If you see anyone you know they have a YouTube channel, feel free to drop their links in the chat anytime. So
yes, pretty please.
Yeah, I know like Carnivore Jerry is one, and there's a few others in here. So you guys go follow all these people and just support them. Show them you care, that you're there to support them.
Good people putting out good content.
Absolutely.
The beautiful Miss Kara Judd is in
the house. Good morning, Kara.
John Wise is here.
Hi, John.
He says, dopamine detox. Dope.
Yeah.
I love it. Sherry on a low-carb journey says,
Sherry.
I'm finally catching a live. Hello, everyone. I'm listening at work today.
Well, I'm so glad you're here, Sherry. Thank you so much.
Yes, super awesome. Mary is here.
Hi, Mary.
She says, good morning. Caught your carnivore bun recipe, so bought the silicone pans and egg powder on Amazon. Still have to make them yet. A month ago, I found out I have Hashimoto's, so about 90% carnivore.
Okay, all right. Mary, if you don't, you should subscribe to Nisha. Nisha, N-E-I-S-H-A. It's Dr. Berry's wife, Nisha Salas-Berry, registered nurse, lactation consultant, health coach, all these things. But she also has Hashimoto's. So if you don't yet, you should totally subscribe to her. And if you do, make sure to watch what she's doing, and just let us know how we can support you as you battle against the up and downs of trying to get those hormones and all that stuff regulated with Hashimoto's. We're here for you.
Yes, Nisha has lots of great info, though. Definitely a great resource.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Marty Crum says, got my copy of the PDF.
Love it. Well, let us know how that goes, Marty. Would love to see your results.
Yes. And Dustin is here.
Yep, there's Dustin Keto Simple. You guys make sure to subscribe to him, too.
Yes. And Aaron, average keto carnivore-ish guy, says, good morning from Buffalo.
Ah, love that. So glad you're here.
Yes. And Kara Judd says, I've noticed being keto that if I don't do dairy, nuts, coffee, I lose weight a lot better. 135 pounds down now. It definitely has changed how my lifestyle change has gotten so much better.
I love that, Kara. That's
so
fantastic.
Cool.
And that's the thing right there. It's a good example. N equals 1. Dairy, nuts, coffee, for whatever reason for Kara, that's a problem. Some people can get away with it as much as they want. Others, not so much. So
yeah, it's just really different.
That's why we're all just constantly on this journey trying to experiment and find the best way to live this proper human diet lifestyle.
Absolutely. This is so awesome. Dustin, Keto Simple gave you a $2 super chat.
Aw, Dustin, you're very, very kind, my brother. We appreciate that.
Yeah, says happy Monday. Let's have an amazing week.
Yes.
Here, my friend. Aaron has a great question.
Yeah.
Do you think drinking too many electrolytes can cause you to retain water weight?
That's a really good question. So now, again, I'm not a doctor, nor am I a nerdy scientist. Chris Bear would actually be the guy to answer this question probably better than me. But to my understanding, no. Too many electrolytes, your body should just pee them out.
Mm-hmm.
As long as your kidneys and everything are working properly, you should just pee them out. Retaining water is an indication of inflammation, and electrolytes don't cause inflammation. If you're retaining water weight, most likely, based on what I've been told, you are having inflammation as a response to something else that's going on. So now, are you getting those electrolytes with some kind of an artificial sweetener? Maybe your body is reacting to that. Does it have, depending on the brand you're using, does it have things like maltodextrin? Does it have other preservatives or chemicals or dyes? Or, I mean, like, there's electrolytes and then there's electrolytes, if you know what I'm saying. So there's probably something else causing that issue. That's why we use salty electrolytes. My link for Keto Chow is in the description box. You can also get the salty electrolytes there, and if you click my link, it'll give you a discount. So just go down to the description box if you guys want to try those. But that's why we love salty. Great electrolytes. I don't have any inflammatory response to any other stuff. But if you do, they have an unflavored one that is just purely the electrolytes. So,
yeah. That's a really good question, though, Aaron.
Yeah,
Thank you
great
for
question.
that. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Aunt Donna's here.
Hi, Donna.
Wallflower. Just got back from a 4-day wedding celebration. I'm so happy for this today.
Oh, well, that's awesome. We're so
happy
glad
you're
that you're here and hope you had a good time at the wedding.
Yes. John Y says, remember the scale. Pay attention to non-scale victories.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why this dopamine detox is not about the scale.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you feel, and it's about all sorts of good things that go on.
Absolutely. Cranky Carnivore Cutler's in the house.
Hey, what's up, my brother John?
Yes. And Viva Christa Ray says, what a great topic to discuss.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is, I love talking about meat, and I love talking about recipes, and I love talking about weight loss and all that kind of stuff. That's great, but that's only part of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think that's the only one that gets focused on. And all of these other things like dopamine and detoxing from this stuff and getting away from the screens and being thankful for your life, I think that gets glossed over and missed.
Yeah.
And I think if we could get more people to pay attention to it, we'd change a lot more lives, a lot more permanently.
Well, I think that's why we're all here, right?
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Evelyn is so funny. You were talking about, no screens or whatever.
Yeah.
And she says, as you say that, we all click off at the same time.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing, guys. I'm telling you to stop watching stuff on YouTube. I make a living because people watch my videos on YouTube. So you know how important this must be if I'm telling you for at least 5 days, don't come watch my stuff.
Yeah.
So I get it. But Evelyn, you're very funny. Thank you very much.
Evelyn's hilarious. That is pretty funny. And I think if you kind of do the detox though, and then you add things back in, what I've learned is it's easier than to understand moderation when it comes to those things.
Absolutely.
So, and we're not preaching to anybody. We're saying, hey, we've done this for years, and we know.
I'm not saying I'm not a dogmatic carnivore. In fact, we were talking about this yesterday. I'm like the carnivore maverick. I do carnivore completely opposite of the way every other carnivore that I figure is out there seems to do it, okay? I am not dogmatic. I don't care if you want to use some spices. You figure out which ones work for you. I don't care if you want to eat a lot of dairy. Figure out what works best for you. I like making recipes. I don't care if it's simple to make a steak or a burger patty. That's cool most of the time, but I like being inventive every now and then. Mm-hmm. I don't care if I have a keto or a ketovore kind of meal every now and then, right? I am not the way a lot of carnivores are, and that's okay. I think it's fine. I think we all find our place in how we do this. So when I'm telling you do this dopamine detox, I'm not saying this is how you need to live the rest of your life. I'm saying do this, give yourself a picture of what could happen, and then you go figure out what do you really like, what do you not like about that, what do you want to do, does that work for you, does it not work for you, do you have different ideas about what you should or shouldn't do, are you going to introduce coffee back in, are you going to stay off the coffee, are you going to add more spices, are you not going to add more spices, do you notice a dopamine hit from this one thing you've been doing? Do you not get a dopamine hit from this thing and it's okay to use it again? I don't care. Whatever it is you work out and you do the best thing for you, I'm encouraging you in that. This is just a protocol to give you a jump start to try to figure that out.
Yeah. Viva Krista Ray says, yes, Chris, it's meant to be addictive on purpose to capture our minds and attention.
Absolutely.
Preach it.
Absolutely.
Carnivore Jerry says, please understand this is the second time I am in the midst of losing 163 pounds. I have made my peace with the scale, but rely on what God has in store for me.
Amen.
Jerry, you're just too cool, my friend. Just way too
Love
cool.
it. Love it.
Viva Krista Ray says, yes, love the fat.
Yes, love and enjoy eating that fat.
The more fat, the better.
Yep.
Claire Marie is here.
Hello, Claire.
One of our awesome band members.
Yes.
She says, good afternoon, beautiful people. Listening in as I drive home from work.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here, Claire.
Yes. And Janelle says, LOL, we have a bunch of grass seed to reseed a lawn. I'm out constantly moving sprinklers. It's not a small city, or it's not a small city lot either.
That's great. That's a great way to move. Yeah. There you go.
Well, it's also productive. I mean, you know, another little tip of advice, if I can add in here, like what Janelle said is perfect. So I make a to-do list before the start of every single week. So that way I know like what it is we're doing and whatnot. And I have things on there like yesterday, my goal, or excuse me, Saturday, it was my goal like to go out and pick weeds in the backyard. So I was out there for like an hour, picked all the weeds in the backyard. And it's like, just find projects like that. And then not only are you out in the sunshine, you're moving or whatever, but then you also feel good because you're getting stuff done.
Accomplishment.
Right, yes. There's that strong sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
So good. And I love this. Richard Williams says that our sound is so much better, which must mean the new microphone is working great.
Excellent. There we go.
Oh, thumbs up. Thumbs up for the new microphone. I love it. Let's see here. And Carnivore Jerry says, last week before starting the BBB&E yesterday, I rid my fridge, ate all of the cheese, and gained 6.2 pounds of inflammation. So for me, I need to stay clear of the Wisconsin favorite.
Yep, I understand. And that's the thing. Some people really react to those dairy casein proteins that way. And they hold on to all this water weight, and they get all this inflammation. Now, we all know she didn't gain 6 point however many pounds of fat. It's inflammation. It's water weight.
Yeah.
Mostly, right?
Yeah.
And that will come back off, of course. But if you do that to yourself day after day after day after day after day for months and months and months and months and months, that inflammation, that may turn into fat over time.
Yeah.
So, you know, because your body starts to store up toxins and creates fat cells and all these kinds of things. So, you know, that's why we do these experiments. And so Jerry knows she might love cheese, but maybe she shouldn't have it regularly.
Exactly.
So there we go.
Dustin is on day 2 of BBB.
That's awesome, brother.
That's very cool.
Do it.
And I love this. Sherry says, yesterday I was watching old taped episodes of The Voice and was dancing in the living room.
Oh, that's cool. I
Great
love
way
that.
to move.
Great way to put movement
Great way
in.
to move.
And if you're having fun doing it, that's like a natural way of getting a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Where you're not only moving, but you're enjoying it and you get all the feel-good hormones because you're having fun.
Yeah.
Those are good ways to get those feel-good hits. That's the right way to get them.
Go swimming. I mean, there's so many things. It depends on what you enjoy, but it's awesome. Sherry on a low-carb journey says, I'm experimenting with mostly carnivore this month.
I love that, Sherry.
That is awesome.
Love that.
Yeah. And Addicted to Antler says, how will we survive without watching CCN and Ash Taylor on YouTube? It's a great question.
I know. It's a really great question.
For 5 days.
You'll just have to come back and see replays and stuff afterwards, I guess.
Yeah. John Wise says, day 4, craving screen time.
Yep. I hear you.
Janelle says, I swear bacon gives me a dopamine hit.
I mean,
same.
Yeah. Yep. But hey, you know what? Dopamine hits from bacon, those are allowed. Mm-hmm. Those are good dopamine hits. We like those.
Yeah. Janelle also says, oh man, tea is my go-to. It keeps me from the food, but I know I have too much. But see, I think this is, okay, so it's a whole journey, right? So maybe you rely on the tea, and that gets you away from the food, and you do that, and then you do something like this detox.
And then you try to get away from the tea.
Yeah.
And then maybe you add the tea back in.
But it's
then
in a
you
smaller
have
amount.
It's a smaller amount, and you have a better relationship with it.
And I did this for 30 days with coffee at one point. And so I needed to do that. Did a reset, and then I added coffee back in, and I drink... To say I drink a lot less is actually an understatement of what I used to drink.
Also, if you're drinking tea and you're like, hey, this is just kind of my thing and I'm like trying to get away from the caffeine of it or whatever, go get herbal teas that are caffeine free.
Yeah.
Like, is it perfect? Maybe not. Maybe you should just drink water. Maybe that'd be better. I don't know. But herbal tea would be a great way to get off of the caffeine if that's the thing you're worried about in that tea. Give it a try.
Yeah. Absolutely. Danny says, I've already swapped watching my phone after finishing work with listening to an audiobook or podcast with either coloring or diamond painting. Yes.
I love that. That's a great way. Guys, So Ash will tell you, I have a number of hobbies, and I don't really get to do a lot of them anymore because we're just so busy. But like, so if you guys don't know, so I used to do street magic. Like, think about like the David Blaine, type of stuff where he'd do like the on TV specials and the Chris Angel and all that kind of stuff. I used to do street magic. I used to be really into that. I do balloon animals and balloon hats. I was really into balloon art at one point in time. I used to really be into yo-yos. I juggle. Actually pretty well. I have lots of juggling equipment that I used to take it really as like a serious hobby. I ride a unicycle, although I haven't done that in a while, but I ride unicycles. That's a lot of fun, just unicycling in general. My mom and I used to do a clown act, so I used to be into clowning. I could just go on and on and on. I have all of these different things I've learned to do in my life, and I think a lot of people are like, get a little confused by that, and they ask me like, how do you learn so many different things? Because that doesn't include the musician stuff and the video editing and the color grading and the film techniques and the recipes, the cooking and like all these other things that I do. And people are like, how do you do all of these different things? Like, I don't know where you find the time. And truthfully, it's like, for most of my life, I never spent a lot of time sitting in front of a screen.
Yeah.
I didn't play with phones and iPads and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't really go to like the mall and the movies and all the kinds of things like other teenagers do. When I was growing up, I was learning how to do all this kind of stuff. And I think everyone is capable of having more time to do hobbies and do things that would be cool and learn new techniques or new stuff or whatever. Like, we all have the ability to invest time into things that would be fulfilling to us, but we waste so much time doing things like scrolling on screens. So
yeah, it's true.
It's just something to consider.
True that. Angie Z says, when I was little, it was about cleaning your plate.
Yep.
Dad worked hard for the money, and you better eat all what's on your plate. That's what Mom made, and that's what we had to eat.
Yep.
I think a lot of people grew up that way.
Yep, I think a lot of people grew up that way. And truthfully, nothing against parents that have touted that with their kids. They're just doing the best they can and doing what they thought was right. But, we all know better. So now it's time we do better.
Absolutely. Jerry has a question.
Yeah.
Chris, is this something you are starting today? Strength in numbers, accountability, just asking.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I'm not going to be able to start it today. I would love to start it today, and I had actually thought about like doing like a, hey, let's all start this, today. I think I would like to, maybe Ash and I look at our calendar and figure out what would be a good time that I could start this, and I'll tell you guys on a Monday morning motivation, like, today's my first day, like that kind of a thing, and we'll set it up intentionally, because I agree, there are strengths in numbers, and maybe the band could all get behind this, and we could do this kind of stuff. I'm not doing it today because this is CMA Fest week, and Ash and I are we're playing a show tonight. We're playing a show Wednesday.
We have the live streams that we're doing.
Live streams.
We have time in a studio. We're filming stuff.
Yep.
So we are in front of screens all the time.
Yes.
And are going to need a lot of coffee to push us through.
Yes,
so,
this is going to be a particularly busy week for us. So it would be, this is what I said about that being intentional about when you do it. This would be a very hard week for me to implement it.
Yeah.
But if we look at the calendar, coming up, maybe there's a better week that we could do it. And I don't know if Ash will do it. I want to do it. So we'll take a look at the calendar and we'll announce to you guys. But by the way, for those of you, we're talking about things like the band getting behind this. For those of you watching, are you in the band yet? Because if you're not, the description box, there's a link down there for you to join the band. And you should totally come join the band. It's our private community, $10 a month. It's a very small investment. It helps support the channel, but it's a way for you to have support when we do these kinds of things. You have a whole group of people that are all there to directly support you when you're struggling with this, give you ideas. And I know I said no screen time. Maybe there would be an exception if you were trying this and you were really struggling and you pulled out your phone or your computer long enough to go in the band and say, can anyone offer me some ideas? Please help. That might be a legitimate reason to take 5 minutes. Don't have to sit and scroll for an hour, but you could be 5 minutes in the band asking for some help. But we do all kinds of stuff in there. We do all sorts of interesting recipes and fun stuff, and I'm actually going to tell you guys about some exciting stuff coming for the band before we end today. So stick around. But if you're not a member of the band yet, that's down below, and we got a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming in there. Things are really going to be changing and moving forward.
Absolutely.
And we're going to tell you about that before the end of this live.
Yes. Dustin says, I wear long tanks under shirts so people don't see my keto butt crack.
You and me both, brother.
Yes. Angie Z says, in addition, as I got older, I chose my foods and bought way smaller plates.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Absolutely. That's great.
John Y says, keto/carny may be a bit extreme, but it's not extremely bad like sad.
Absolutely. I think it's extreme because we have conditioned society to be so extreme in the other direction now.
Yeah.
And so it seems weird to go back that way.
Agreed. Viva Krista Ray says, thanks, Chris and Ash. Very good point.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Tammy says, hey, Ben, checking in from Florida.
Hey, Tammy.
Visiting my friend.
Love it.
That's fun.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Thomas, Target Prime Rib is here.
Hello, my brother.
Saying hello to us.
Good to see you.
Janelle says, at bedtime, I walk away from computer and TV and go read in bed. It really makes a difference. I grumble at hubby who scrolls at the other side of the bed.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's a really good thing. You know, sometimes something Ash and I like to do is we sit and we kind of wind down watching TV at night. But I found, and this is, I'm not saying watching TV is good, but I found what I was doing is watching TV and simultaneously scrolling on my phone and going like, back and forth between the two with attention the entire time, constant dopamine hit. I've really tried to stop doing that. I try to put my phone over on the charger and leave it alone.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. Sometimes I do better than others, but I do the best that I can.
Well, and that's I think all we're trying to say today is like take these ideas. If you can do them full force, great. If not, just start implementing them because they do make a really big difference.
Absolutely.
You guys, for sure. Viva Christori says, might be good to keep a small log of what you're doing each day, just for a week to be aware of what we are doing / not doing.
Absolutely. I think journaling or just kind of writing down stuff, keeping a log, however you want to do it, is always a good thing when you're trying a new experiment.
Absolutely. And Tammy says, I'm working on exercise. I hurt constantly, so slow and steady.
Absolutely.
Just do what you can.
Yep, absolutely.
Very, very easy.
Don't overdo it when you first start exercise, for sure. And make sure you're getting plenty of electrolytes and rest.
Yeah.
Rest.
Yeah.
Rest.
Yeah. And Angie Z says, I definitely need to put my phone down at night before bed and move more during the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me too, Angie.
Me too. Angie, join the club.
That's why when we're telling you guys this stuff, this is not a, hey, we got this figured out, let's tell you how to live your lives. This is a, hey, this is the stuff we're trying to figure out how to be better at, and we're encouraging you guys to come along.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, when we do things like get off of our phones or stop drinking coffee or do these types of things, we end up feeling a lot better.
Yep.
Sometimes we may lose a little weight or inflammation. I mean, and then you're motivated.
Yep.
You're encouraged.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Viva Christori says, going to take a walk before it heats up. Have a blessed day, everyone. You too. Hey,
have fun.
Coach Rebecca's in the house.
Hello, Rebecca.
We love Rebecca.
Yes.
She says, hey, y'all, wow, I caught a live for a moment. Not sure how long I will be here. Miss y'all.
Oh, we miss you too, but we're very glad you're able to be here for a minute with us.
Yes, thank you so much for stopping in. Thomas Tarkin Program says, I just finished with my live and thought I would... oh, sorry, my comment jumped. Thought I would hop on here and say hello.
Well, thank you so much. We're glad you're here.
Absolutely. Darth Carnivore is in the
Charlie.
house. Charlie's awesome. He says, hey, Chris and Ash, yesterday was my second carniversary. I definitely need to challenge myself with screen time limits in order to be a better example for my 10-year-old girl. Phones are so addictive, has carbs.
Yep.
I agree, man.
I totally agree.
Good for you, though. Way to be a good dad and set that example.
That's right. Maybe use this dopamine detox as a way to kickstart that.
Yes, that's really cool. Angie Z says, I bought the blue slushie, so thank you for the discount. It should arrive tomorrow.
Yes, it is so good.
Yeah.
It is so good.
It's delicious.
Yes, I think you're really going to enjoy that, Angie.
Yeah. Danny says, I work from home at my desk and I'm starting to get my mobility back, and I just bought myself an under-desk elliptical so that I can strengthen my legs even more and get back to dancing.
And that's such an amazing thing because not only are you making it work for your lifestyle, but you're also setting a goal, and it's a goal that when you do achieve that, it's going to be something you enjoy and also brings about more movement in your life.
Yes.
Like, it's literally, that is stacking the deck in your favor. That is so great. And
this is hilarious. You said you're the carnivore maverick. And so Evelyn says, does that make Ash Goose since you're maverick?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, man. Kevin W. says, good afternoon. Thanks for the great recipes and content.
Yes, absolutely, Kevin.
Yes.
Talk to me, Goose.
Stop.
Evelyn, I think that just became a thing. Thank you.
He's going to start calling me Goose now. John White says, simple solution. Start detox on Wednesday, and you don't miss any CCN live streams.
That's right.
See, John has all the ideas.
That's right.
He knows. Aaron says, I cut down last week, was previously drinking a pot of coffee a day. Yes, a pot. Last week, 22 ounces a day.
Yep.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yep. Absolutely. That's great. We used to drink a lot more coffee.
Oh, a lot
This
more.
is not coffee today, by the way. This is just water.
Yeah. I tell you, we're doing it.
Love it.
Darth Carnivore says, Chris is a true Renaissance man. Cooking, guitar playing, clowning, writing. What can't he do?
I'm a terrible basketball player.
I don't know about that.
I'm awful. Even when I was in great shape and I was a kid and all of that, I was good at other sports. I was never good at basketball.
Yeah. And Carnivore Jerry says, Chris, the man of all the talents. Thanks, Mom and Pop CCN. And Carrie Young says, my dad always told me that you will always find time to do what you want to do.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, you find the time to do the things you want to do, but you also have to realize that there are things you want to do.
Yeah.
You have to start there. You have to figure out what you want to do. And sometimes figuring out what you want to do is getting the noise out of your head of all the things that you feel like you need to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to do it because it's a job and you got to make money to live and whatever. Fine. But sometimes you think, I need to do it because if I don't, I won't make it through the day. Like, drink a pot of coffee.
Yeah.
Or I need to have a candy bar after lunch because I won't get through work if I don't. Or those are the kinds of things. Well, how about we stop making ourselves live in a position where there's all these things we need to do, and maybe we start working on, here's all the stuff we want to do.
Hallelujah.
I see our buddy Bill Knott popped in here.
Yes.
If you guys don't subscribe to Bill Knott, you are totally missing out. Good to see you, Bill. We are glad you are here. I bet Bill knows a thing or two about dopamine detox
Yeah.
and getting off of all of the junk and everything. And he has an incredible radical transformation of his life because of Keto Carnivore.
He does, yeah.
What an amazing story. There's so many amazing stories in the chats, but Bill just has a particularly inspiring one in so many ways, and I'm sure he knows a lot about detoxing off of that addictive dopamine thing from all the junk. So
yeah, absolutely.
you guys definitely should go subscribe to Bill. But yeah, that's the thing, guys. Like, we're trying to get the noise out of our head, try to get away from the dopamine struggle so that we can truly hear what's going on and what it is we're truly interested in doing.
Absolutely. Also, Miss Carnivore K's in the
Hello,
house.
Aunt Kay.
Yes, we love Kay.
Yes, good to see you.
And lots of people are saying that they are definitely members of the band, so I'd love to see that pop up on the screen.
Love it. I love it. If you guys are members of the band, I put up a post last night that was long and deep about an experience that I had just recently in another group, and I would love for you guys to go read that. And I know it takes a minute, but it's on the Chris Cooking Nashville feed in there. Please go read that, because I think it will hopefully encourage you all as to why Ash and I are so grateful for you and why we are so blessed to have the community that we do.
100% agree.
So please go read that post if you're in the band. And if you're not in the band and you can't read that post, go join the band, guys.
Yeah.
You're missing out. You're missing out. We're going to tell you a little bit more about that here in a minute.
Absolutely. And Patricia Hoffman says, excellent post, Chris.
Thank you so much.
And Peggy says, 100% I'm also a member of the Needing to Put My Phone Down Club.
Yep, I think a lot of us are.
Yes, awesome.
Myself included.
Well, babe, is there anything else? I think we have some announcements and stuff we need to go through before we say goodbye.
We have some announcements.
Okay.
So, first of all, let's talk about the thing that everyone who is here is going to see just happen publicly on YouTube. Okay? So, tomorrow night, we are doing Backstage with Chris. I'm doing mini cheeseburger pizzas. We are looking very forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow night is also, for a while, going to be the last Backstage with Chris on Tuesday nights.
Yep.
At least for a little while. And let me tell you guys a little about why. So, Ash and I are getting to a point where we are running out of time. Every day. We are running out of time in the week to do everything we're trying to do. And I love doing those Backstage with Chris cooking lives. I really do. But I cannot keep doing those and also keep doing all of the new things that we are trying to do and add in. And the Backstage with Chris stuff is fun, and we get to hang out with the community. But we're not able to make as deep of an impact for as many people as some of the things we're trying to build. So, tomorrow night will be the last Backstage with Chris, at least for a while, and I don't know when we'll bring it back, if we'll bring it back. This is just going to kind of depend on how things go. But we'll still be doing Monday morning lives, here doing the Monday morning motivation. We're going to keep doing that, and there may be other times that I pop in and randomly do a live Q&A, or maybe I'll pop in and randomly do a cooking live. You never know. Like, we're as time allows. But we just are not going to be able to do it every Tuesday, because you guys have to think, it takes an hour to set up.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me prepping all of the stuff ahead of time, which certain things have to be prepped certain ways so that you can really get what's going on camera. Plus we have cleanup. Plus we have tearing all the stuff down. Plus we spend all of that time where we're taking questions and we're doing all this kind of stuff. Plus it's the recipe ingredients and the money that it costs for that. There is so much logistically that goes into doing a live stream like that you guys would never see. So it's a huge time commitment to do that, and we just can't do it every week. Also, this is something we've been trying to do for a long time, but we're finally at a point where we can do this. We're going to be doing some private live streams for band members.
Mm-hmm.
Some cooking things. We talk about extra recipes, and I've posted some extra recipes in the band, but nowhere near as many as I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to share a lot more with band members, because you guys are the reason the channel is here. I mean, you help us stay stable to where we can afford to do this by supporting the work, because recipe ingredients are expensive, and lighting is expensive, and just the time that it takes to do all of this means I don't have a day job, because there's no way I could do all of this and also work a day job, and I mean, we have rent to pay. Like, there's so many things that we're trying to do on a regular basis, and we love doing all of this stuff, but we only have so many hours in the day. And so we want to really make sure that we are taking the time to appreciate and support our band members.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've wanted to do some private live stream stuff in there for a long time. Some of it will be cooking. Some of it we're going to do some special guests that we're going to do interviews. You guys will get to see it live, be there, ask questions, involve live with that person and interact. And then the videos, depending on what kind of video it is, may or may not get posted later for everybody else to watch. It just sort of depends on which specific video it is. But all of this kind of stuff, we are going to do special things for the band members.
Yeah.
And really lean into that community, because we really want to build the band and make it something special, because having a community around you helps so many people stay stable, us included. Like, this is something that made a huge difference for us, having community. So it's one thing to put out a live stream and people go, wow, that's cool. It's another thing to have direct access to truly work together as a community and support people and see it change their lives. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change lives here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think too, like you were saying, maybe we'll bring Backstage with Chris on later, or who really knows, but like, just always, of course, honesty is the best policy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand how quickly your channel has grown.
Yeah.
And all of the opportunities and all the things that we're doing. Like, Chris and I at this point are working on so much more things behind the scenes that you guys were not able to unfortunately tell you yet. Yeah. But like, you guys know, Chris is writing his cookbook.
Yep.
We're like right in the depths of that. But if you think about it, we do basically 2 to 3 live streams a week. Not even my music stuff, just with Chris, and that plus the recipe videos and the time to create those. So we just want to, instead of like wearing ourselves out super thin though, we want to just be able to focus and give people the best and create, and instead of just doing everything, stop and go, okay, what is going to be the most beneficial and the most helpful for people right now, and let's kind of work on that project. So we're kind of stepping back, but we're stepping back because we want to move forward and do some more an efficient place and pace of time, I guess, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And when we start announcing the things we're working on behind the scenes for a few things, I think if you're watching and you're going, I don't understand what you could be doing that would be so important, I think once we start announcing some of the stuff that we've been working on and some of the ideas we're starting to flesh out and things we're beginning to create, I think you're going to go, oh, like, that's totally totally a different thing that I didn't realize they'd be working on that is going to have like the potential to impact a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that I think will be really good, and we're just working on a lot of stuff to try to help as many people as we can, and I need to have time and energy to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to burn myself out to a point where when I'm on here, you guys are like, Chris just doesn't seem to want to be here. I don't ever want that to be the case. I don't ever want that to be the case. So these Monday morning motivations, I think, have been just so important in helping so many people. We're going to keep these going. We're going to try to, pop in when I'm available. I'll pop in and do surprise live. So make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I'm getting ready to go live, and pop in and hang out. But we just need to pull back a little instead of doing every Tuesday just showing you something else, being more intentional about that. So
it's just intentionality.
Yeah, it's just being really, really intentional. And again, if you guys want a little bit more time with us, come join the band. And there will be some lives and stuff going on in there, and some things that we're going to do that are special resources for band members, and you guys get to be a part of all of that, including the extra recipes, maybe some cooking lives, interviews, all sorts of stuff there.
If I can also just share something super quick, because I feel like there's such a big picture going on here, and I think we're just trying to, so sorry for both rambling, but I think we're just trying to be very clear and transparent, because we're both kind of open books, but...
we don't want to hide things from you guys.
Yeah. We love doing the backstage with Chris, but like we said, it's a time commitment, and we have so much going on behind the scenes, and we have different things we're doing. I think, though, too, the reason why, if you guys feel like we are prioritizing the band, is because it's almost like we want to help as many people as possible. And the people in the band deserve our time and our support and everything.
Yeah.
And I think you have to it's like building a house, right?
Yeah.
So the band is like the foundation.
Yeah.
That's like our crew, our people. That's who we rely on, who we support, and what we do. So we want to give them priority.
Yeah.
And not just thank them for their support, but also encourage them and help them to where then they are able then to go out and help and spread it to more people.
Right.
And so before you can start building a house, before we can start doing so many of these other things we want to do and bring in all of these new people to Keto and Carnivore and help all these people, you have to make sure your house is in order first. And you have to build it right. So we feel like starting with getting our house in order is building our band and building that foundation. And setting up things and extra things and stuff in there to where they are the priority. And then from there we can grow it. Because you don't want to grow so quickly, right? That then it all falls down. We want to grow it the right way, hopefully, and do the best that we can to provide the most, if you will.
Absolutely.
To help as many, many, many people as possible.
I think, to add just a little context to some of that too. So I've talked with several different people who are YouTube creators who have a channel that's roughly the same size as mine, right? A little bigger, a little smaller, whatever. Every single YouTube creator I have talked to that has the same size channel that I do, roughly, and certainly bigger than that, every single one of them has a video editor. And they have a social media person, and they have usually someone who's filming and all of this kind of stuff. And you guys may not know this. Ash and I do it all. We film everything. I edit and color grade everything. I do all my own social media. Ash helps out with some of the social media stuff. We answer all the emails. Like, we need a personal assistant. And we are just stretched so thin doing so much. And it's just a lot. So we're just trying to figure out how to keep everything under control the best we can. So I also saw there was a question that popped up, something about the benefits of the band and knowing like what the band is. From Frank. Thank you for this. So I have a private community. I have YouTube memberships and Patreon, because on YouTube and Patreon is where I started first. Right? Back in the day. Patreon is where I first started because it's free to start a Patreon. And I wasn't making any money on YouTube. And the people were asking to support the channel, and so I created the Patreon for that. Eventually, Frank, the Patreon is going to go away.
Over time.
I have not pulled that away just yet because there's still people that like using Patreon and they want to support the channel, and I appreciate that. and I don't want to just take everything away. The reason that the benefits seem to vary is because on Patreon and on the YouTube memberships, I'm limited in what I can do. So I do as much as I can for the Patreon and the YouTube members, but there's certain things, like functionality-wise, I can't do. Patreon won't let you do it. YouTube certainly won't let you do it. So the Mighty Networks that we set up, which is the main thing that we were talking about, the band, that costs us over $1,000 to set up every year, right? So, I mean, it was a huge financial investment for us to create it, which is why we are prioritizing the people that are in there helping us do all of this, because we can do way more. And as it gets bigger, I can do more and more and more in there. When we get it big enough, I can do things like put a cooking course in there, and I can put downloads, and I can do all kinds of stuff for you guys in there. We can create spaces for different people. Like Dustin from Keto Simple is in there. Victor at Southern Keto is in there. Pastor Bob is in there. All of them have their own spaces where they can do their own work, and we're going to be setting things up. So there's a lot of stuff that I can do in that private community that I cannot do through Patreon, and I definitely can't do through YouTube. So that's why it exists. That's why we're moving things in that direction. So that is where everything will eventually end up. I'm not going to yank the rug out from underneath my Patreon supporters and be like, sorry, you got to come over here or go away. I'm not going to do that quickly.
And that's why whatever we are functionally, whatever the Patreon app or whatever YouTube memberships allows us to share, we always share in those respective places. But the main community that you guys do want to join is the
Mighty Networks community, the band, which is linked in the description box. So.
And also, Jerry said, moderators, please link the Mighty CCN band for everyone.
Yes.
So, and they did. So that link is also in the comments.
Absolutely. So that is why the band is there. And eventually we want to migrate anyone in the Patreon group that still wants to support and be a part of things over to the Mighty Networks. And eventually I would ask my YouTube members to do all the same thing, and those two things will eventually be phased out.
Yeah.
So, but you know, to your point, Frank, I appreciate it's a little confusing, and because there's growing pains and transition issues. At the time that I started the Patreon, I didn't have the ability to have YouTube members, because that's a thing, you have to get your channel to a certain size before they'll let you do it. So I started Patreon because it was free and I could do it. Then I added the YouTube members because some people don't want to go to Patreon, they just want to stay on YouTube. Then, like a year and a half later, we finally had enough extra ability to invest money that we were able to set up the Mighty Networks community, which is what I wanted to do from the beginning. But when I looked at it the first time, it was like, yeah, it's going to cost you over $1,000 to set this up, and you have no one who's going to join right away. I didn't have $1,000 to invest. I mean, we were filming these videos with an old iPhone 11, and I didn't have lighting, I didn't have microphones, I didn't have anything. And I was working multiple jobs just trying to keep the rent paid. So at the time, we didn't have the ability to set up a Mighty Networks. Once we finally got to that point, like a year and a half later, that's when we did it.
Yeah.
So it's a big, long, overarching, big picture kind of a thing. So that's why it is that way, and that's why we're working in that direction. But stepping back from Tuesday nights is going to give us more time for me to work on the cookbook, work on the things that I'm doing for that community to get that set up. And then, once we have things set up, then we can start doing the marketing push to help people know to move from Patreon and move from YouTube memberships and all this kind of stuff. But that's, again, all of that takes time, because you have to communicate that to, I mean, I have 133,000 subscribers. So, you know, you have to communicate that to all of these different people that, like, why things are moving. So,
yeah. Great question, though, Frank. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Hey, real quick, let's get through a few comments, and then we'll let people go about their beautiful Monday. Adele says, first time catching you, love your recipes.
Well, thank you, Adele. We're glad you're here.
So sweet. And Tammy says, boy, you guys are preaching for sure.
We're doing something.
We're doing something. I do the same thing, watch TV and scroll on the phone. I'm getting better.
Yeah, and it's a journey. It's a growth process, right?
Yeah. Patricia says, next, instead of backstage, juggling during Ash's live shows. I love that.
Yes, indeed.
And Lisa Marie says, that is sad, but I understand.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be some disappointment for people, but, come join the band and you'll be able to get to see some of the stuff we're doing in there.
Absolutely. And Janelle says, I understand the time thing. We will miss you, but do what you need to do.
Yeah, well, Janelle's in the band, so she's gonna be seeing stuff in there. So
yeah,
but absolutely.
And Jerry says, thanks for the fabulous show today.
Absolutely, thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, and Carrie says, oh no, the backstage with Chris will be missed.
Yeah, thank you, Carrie.
And Janelle has a question.
Yeah.
Will there be an Ash Wednesdays this week? Janelle, there will not be this week, unfortunately. So we are, again, I used to do Ash Wednesdays every Wednesday night. No way I can keep up with that schedule, so I had to go back a bit. So we're doing them once a month, and they're usually going to be on the first Wednesday of every month. We won't do it, though, this week, so stay tuned. I'll announce a date, but we're not doing it this week because it's CMA week here in Nashville, so it's the largest country music festival in the world happening right here, and so that's why we're playing multiple shows this week, and I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff. Plus, I have my new podcast launching this week.
Yep.
So stay tuned, and I will definitely announce it ahead of time. But thank you for asking. I so appreciate that.
And what I will do is once that podcast is launched, once the Ashfault podcast has launched, I will go back on this video and I will put the link to the podcast in the description box. You guys should go check out Ashfault. It's going to be really cool.
It's really fun. So, but thank you, Janelle. I so appreciate that. You're so sweet. And Jerry says this is exciting news.
Yeah.
And,
we're going to have fun.
Oh, totally. Dustin at Keto Simple says, looking forward to seeing what you do on the private lives. I'll miss sharing Tuesday nights with you both, though.
Yes, we'll miss it too.
Good.
So, but yeah, we're going to have some fun, and maybe we'll even get Dustin involved in some of our private live stream stuff.
Oh, yeah, totally. Janelle says, focus. Good idea. We don't want you getting burnt out.
Yeah, I don't want me getting burnt out. I've had that happen a couple times in my life, and it's hard to crawl back out of. So
yes, exactly.
Not fun.
And Dustin says there's still Keto Crusade once a month.
Yep, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing. So there's another thing that I do that, takes time, and I love doing it, but it's like you can only do so many things and do them well.
Yes, and that's really just the thing of it.
Yep.
And look at who's here. Coach Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
She says, morning, beautiful couple.
Good to
morning.
see you, my friend.
My beautiful friend. Y'all, Coach Lisa is awesome. You guys should go subscribe to her channel if y'all don't. She's wonderful. She's been sending me some menus to follow. She's always got some great workouts and stuff to do.
She's got great info.
Movement. Yep. It's awesome. And Aunt Kay says, we're here for you no matter what or where you're going. We love and appreciate all you do for us. Can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you so much, Aunt Kay.
She's like the sweetest person in the world.
She truly is.
I love her.
We love Aunt Kay.
Angie Z says, very grateful and lots of thank yous for all that you both do every day. Thank you, friends, here as well. Your support is such a blessing.
Oh, you're so welcome, Angie. And thank you for being involved in all of this and supporting us. Because honestly, we can't do what we do without you all being here and doing what you do. So
this is all true. All very true. Bianca says, love your recipes. Thanks from Germany.
Well, thank you, Bianca. Good to see you in Germany.
Yeah. And Dustin says he's looking forward to my podcast.
Yes, it's going to be so good.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. And Danny says, thank you both, Chris and Ash, for everything you do. Since I found your channel, it has made my ketovore journey so much easier.
Yeah.
And that's what we love to hear. That's
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. And Clover Sue says, just tuned in. Seems I missed an announcement. Are you leaving?
Clover, I'm not leaving.
You can't get rid of us.
Yeah, things are just changing a little bit. So just scroll back, watch the replay, because we had kind of a whole long thing there of what and why and how it's all happening. But
we're just not doing, we're not on Tuesday nights. So tune in tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central Standard.
Yep.
After that, though, we're taking a break from our Tuesday night lives to focus on other things because we want to help as many people as possible.
Yep.
So go back and watch the replay to get the full
details.
Yeah, but no, we're not leaving. We're literally just working harder to be here more. So
absolutely.
Yeah, just hang out.
Yes.
And Stephen Stone says, move to the band. It's really worth it.
Yes, thank you so much, Stephen. We have so many people here that are members in the band, and they're really wonderful people. And we're just going to be able to do a lot of really cool stuff over there. So it's truly worth it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And because we're able to focus more over there, my hope is to make it worth a whole lot more than just the $10 a month.
Yeah. Add more value.
Yeah.
And Clover Sue says, gotcha, totally understand. Thanks, love you guys.
You're so welcome, Clover.
And Marty says, love being a band member.
Yeah.
And
Laura. Yep.
Love you guys and all the band members.
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely.
Lots
We love our band members, and we have so much planned for going into the band and doing really cool stuff, providing resources and bringing in special things, and we're going to try to make it unlike any place like that out there.
Yeah.
We really want to do something special there. So
absolutely.
So we're gonna put our time and our effort into creating bigger and better impacts. And I don't know if you guys know, but I have a cookbook to write.
Yeah.
So
that stuff.
Here we are.
Well, babe, I think we're all caught up on comments and everything.
Well, cool.
Was there any other announcements or anything we wanted to talk about?
I don't necessarily think so. So make sure to tune in tomorrow night for the cheeseburger pizzas. That's going to be really cool. And those are going to be done in an air fryer. I'm going to be using my 90-second bread and doing them in an air fryer. Show you guys how we put it together. So that's going to be really cool. And then on Saturday, Carnivore bagels are coming. The band has seen some pictures of those already.
Heck yeah.
And they're really good. How good are they?
Oh, they're delicious. We've had them a couple times now. They're really good.
Yeah, and they're very easy to make. So we're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to go for really trying to make some cool stuff happen with that. So that's coming out Saturday. We have the Tuesday cheeseburger pizzas tomorrow. Make sure to tune in. And then, we just have a bunch of projects that we're going to be working on. And y'all tune in and stay tuned because there's going to be a lot of things coming in the next 6 months, year.
Yeah.
A lot of things we're working on that give a long-term vision to all of this because we're not trying to help just the people here in the community. We're trying to go through the community members and reach as many people in the world that need help and hope as possible.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Essentially what Ash and I are doing is getting you guys to jump on board so you can become warriors, and then we're all going to go to battle and save the rest of the world as best we can. And that's what it really comes down to. So a lot of stuff is happening, and we appreciate you guys hanging with us. And if you haven't yet, go down and join the band so you can see all the cool stuff that we're doing, be the first to know about everything. So I think that's it. Do you have anything?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. We love every single one of you. This is Chris Cook in Nashville. My beautiful wife, Ash Taylor, over here. Go to ashtaylor.com for all of the info about her stuff. We'll catch you guys very soon. You guys eat your meat. Love your life. We'll see you guys in the studio for more motivational things like this. We'll see you in the kitchen from time to time for some live streams maybe, and recipes and all of the other fun stuff that we're doing. And hopefully we'll see every single one of you guys over in the band very soon.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Have a great